Hello and welcome. I got another package from Vinted. I have just been ordering some things that I thought were pretty good deals. And when I say pretty good deals, I'm talking like $2, $3, $4, $5, something like that. And it's stuff that I think I would use or have use for in some sort of way, whether it's making it into a bag clip or something. So I wanted to try a few more things. Now, we do have more ordered that has not arrived yet. But they should be here in the next few days. So we'll be having another unboxing video. So let's check this one out and just see what we have. So it looks like this one was just put into a little plastic bag and then brown paper around it. That is a different way of doing it. It works though, so yeah. So this one that I ordered is a Pixar shirt. I just thought this one would be a good one to have for when we are like out and about at the parks and stuff, but I kind of felt like this was something I would wear every day. This is a very thin shirt, and I thought it had new with tags on it, but it looks like it actually came from Family Dollar. That's why I had not seen this one before. It's cute. What I don't love about it is it seems like Carl's face and Woody's face has no paint on it. But again, I've never seen this before, and I just thought it would be interesting and a cool one just to have, just to wear, you know, wherever. But I just gave, I think, maybe like $3, $4, $5 for it. And yeah, so I do like it. I'm surprised it came from Family Dollar. Like I said, I wasn't expecting that, and it's really nice. It's real cute. So I went ahead and got this one. That's one to add to my collection of t-shirts. Do I really need a lot more t-shirts in my collection? No, but I do wear them. I go through my stuff quite often and check and see like what I've been wearing versus what I haven't, and I rotate my clothes. I did go through the clothes not too long ago to see if there was anything in there, and the ones that I had not worn since we moved into this house, I did pull them out. So those will be going on to my Vinted page, and it is under Ventures with M, just like the channel, all one word. And I'm putting things on there that I'm removing from my collection, as well as just personal items. So you will be finding things like Loungefly, the Funko Pops, new emos, clothing for them. There's going to be a ton of stuff get listed over the next several days, because now that we're back from the trip, I'm going to actively get busy listing all of the things. Check it out and see if there's anything in there that would help you. And if there's something in there, but you don't really like the price of it, make an offer. You can make an offer on any of the items that anybody has, and they'll either accept it or they won't, or they'll come back with a counter offer. And then you get to choose if you want to buy it or not. So yeah, check out Vinted. I think it's great. I'm loving the platform. I don't love the categories yet. I'm hoping that they keep doing more, because I would like collectibles to have better options for categories, not just like to put it into toys or something along those lines. So yeah, check it out, Vinted. While we were gone, we did a lot of pin trading. So I wanted to show you some of the pins that we ended up getting. We did pin trading at the boards. We only went to the 4 parks while we were at Disney World. So we didn't go around and do resort pin trading, but we did end up at Port Orleans French Quarters, and we went and got Mickey beignets. We also ended up at Yacht Club and Beach Club one time, and we pin traded there as well. These are some of the books that I have. This is my smaller one of the Pinfolio show, and then I have the Max, and I also have just the small ones. The 4 small ones are the ones that we took to the parks, and I kept just rotating out. I had one book that I kept like Boo Boo Kitties, WDW Kevin, for my fake pins, so that we could trade fake pins for fake pins. And then I had one that had all real deal pins in it, and that's what I traded real pins with. I have never been to pin trade with people before. There at the Breezeway in Epcot the first day. And so when we went, I decided to, as Kevin said, try, because we all belong there. As long as we have real pins, we can go trade for real pins. Some people even had fake pins there and were trading fake pins for fake pins. So even if you don't have real ones, but you want to go see what it's like, if they have their little fake pins with them, make sure that you go over and see them, because it'll let you see what it's like to be able to do it. But this is the smaller pin book that I have of the 2 big ones. These pins I already had. These 2 I was able to get. These are part of my Wishables Series 1. So I was able to get these 2 to add to these. I am trying to work on this collection. I have all of Series 2, but I don't have all of Series 1. And Series 3 is fixing to come out. I found this one. I was able to get it. I did trivia for that one, so make sure you ask if you go to a pin board if anybody has trivia. I got these 2 to add to the Avatar pins. These were the only 2 that I had for Avatar, so I'm currently working on this set and this set, and then I'd like to try to get some more of these. And then I was working on this set. I did not find any of these, and I didn't find any of those. If you've been watching my videos, you'll know that once I get a full collection of the 16 pins or the 8 pins or whatever it is, I put them on the 8x8 picture frames with foam boarding in the back of it and put them on bookshelves. So that's the way I display mine. And then the ones that I don't have finished yet, I just kind of keep in here and keep working on them. This one I found on the board, and I got back to the room and I did download the pin trading app as per WDW Kevin before we went, and I went ahead and paid the $40 for a year so that we could see what I had and what I needed. And we'll talk more about the pin trading app later, but I used it and I took a scan of it to see, and it actually showed up that this pin was worth a good amount of money compared to what I thought it would be. And so I'm keeping it in my collection just because I don't know a whole lot about it. I'm hoping to do a little more research on it. But yeah, I found it on a board. And then these I'm keeping because I found these pins the last trip that we took, and some of them are pre-production and some of them are artist proof. I am keeping those in my collection just because I feel like they're definitely special, so I want to keep them. Now these are collections that I was already kind of working on before. I did not find any more of these, nor did I ask about them. I didn't ask about these or these. I did see one of these, and it was a Heimlich, so I did trade for that one. And then I didn't try to trade for any of these. So these are just ones that I already had and eventually will finish. But I had other collections that I was working on that I wanted to try to either finish or I wanted to try to find while I was there. Now, my collections are older, and it's hard to find the older pins because I did notice that a lot of the people that were pin trading under the breezeway had more of the new collections and were trying to work on new collections or trying to help people with the new collections. So that didn't really help me a lot. Now, this is the Pinfolio Max Show. This is the one that's bigger. Now, when I went, I had one pin in this collection, and it was the Mochi cat from Big Hero 6. I went in saying I was going to work on this collection as my #1 collection because I love the look of the pixie plush. When I got there, I started asking, and I was getting a little discouraged because I only found a couple of pins that people had the very first day. But we kept going, kept looking on pin boards, kept going back to the pin trading areas, and I was able, over the course of like 2 days, find every one of these. I was so happy. Not only did we find all of these, but we got an extra one of Pegasus. Now, I did have someone ask me to get Pegasus, that they wanted the Pegasus solely. That was the only one that they wanted. And I'm so happy to say that I was able to trade with WDW Kevin in Animal Kingdom, and he had the one that we needed. So we were able to get this one. The one that caused me the biggest issue was Gus. And nobody had Gus. I could not find Gus anywhere. We came off the ride in Pandora in Animal Kingdom, and we're going through the gift shop. And I went to look at the pin board, and they said, it's outside, it's not in here today. So we went out, and I actually missed it to start with and turned around and went back. And I got to the board, and I didn't see anything that I needed. And I was like, okay, well, I don't see anything. And then all of a sudden, I noticed that Gus was on the board. And I went, oh my gosh, I have been looking for this pin. Like, that is the one pin I need to finish my collection. The girl that was standing there with it was like, she just was so shocked. She said, it was waiting here for you. Like, it was just meant to be. He's waiting here for you. So I was able to get Gus off of that pin board, and I could not believe it. So I went and traded and got him and finished my full collection. So if you were the cast member that was there at the end of Avatar when I found Gus, thank you so much for being so sweet and kind. It made my day. That was the best day that we had. The entire trip was finding Gus, getting to finish this collection, meeting WDW Kevin, and getting the Pegasus. It truly was the best day. Other than having to cut our trip short because one of our fur babies wasn't doing well, that was like the part of the trip that made everything just be the best it could possibly be in the situation that we were in. So we also found these. These are part of a collection. I wasn't going to start this collection, but I have to have Yzma because she is my absolute favorite villain. I love the villains, but I do love Yzma. Yzma in cat form is the best. So I had to get this one. I found this on a board. These 3 ducks, I was not going to start the Ducks of Disney, but these 3, I had to get them when I saw them. Chip, Dale, and then Lady. It was just a must. So I wasn't thinking about doing this full series, but the Maleficent duck is pretty awesome. So I do think I'm going to try to get the Maleficent duck also, and maybe Ursula even, because she looked pretty cool too. So maybe I will go ahead and do this series. To me, they look funny because they have teeth. You don't normally think of ducks with teeth. I get why they did it, but this series I started while I was there. We went to Animal Kingdom and did the Zootopia show. If you are there, you have to do Zoo Gather Day. It's under the Tree of Life. It's where the old Bugs Life show was. And I was a little upset that they replaced Bugs Life, but this is amazing. It is an amazing show. It is 4D. It has a lot of interactive parts with it. The part where the mice comes through does not make you laugh and have the best time ever. There's nothing that will. I mean, there's just nothing that will. That part where the mice go running through, oh my gosh, I was laughing so hard I was crying. It was the best. Everybody around me was too. So yeah, it's great. You have to do it. We ended up doing it more than once because we loved it so much. After doing that, I went through and I started finding some of these at Epcot, and so I started trading for those, and I'm missing one. I'm only missing Clawhauser, having that complete set. And I did try to get it, but there were numerous people looking for Clawhauser while I was there, and so I didn't do it. I should have gotten a blind box to open to see, but the only thing was with the blind box, if I had done it to start with, I would have felt better about it because I wouldn't have had any. And so if I, got it, it would have been the first two for me to start the series. But because I was only missing one and we were getting ready to leave, it didn't really make sense for me to get it because then I would have pins that I didn't need. So I'm just going to wait, and when we go back, or try to find somebody maybe even online that would trade another pin for that one. Some of these other ones, so the Fantasy Flights, we did end up getting the 2 Pegasus from that. I traded for those. Didn't really see any other ones that I think I want to get that collection for, but maybe, you never know. And then this one, I ended up trading someone a couple of Villains pins for it. I believe they were Villains pins. I can't remember. I thought he was cute. I didn't start this series, but I do think Tigger is cute like that. I got the Hatbox Ghost in the D because I do have the Haunted Mansion 2 Department 56 pieces, and so I think I'm going to start Haunted Mansion board in between them, so I did get this one. I found several of the castles that I think I'm going to keep. I don't really know for sure. I kept them for now, but we'll see. This little cup, I've never seen that before, so I got it. I later checked it in the pin trading app and noticed that it's part of a collection that I've never seen before, so I kept it. And then I believe that's Mirabelle down there. I found her on a board and ended up keeping her too. I haven't really researched her to see what she's about, but I just thought she was pretty cool looking, and I kept that one. These are some of the other ones that I was working on while we were there. I did not have any of these to start with, and I was able to trade for this entire collection under the breezeway and did not buy not a single one. I also was able to trade for all of these and not buy any of them. This is the entire Villains collection. The sleeping set, I started with a few of these, and this was one of the other collections that I went there looking for. And one of the things about this is I found that these pins have been faked, because I did trade for some, and some of them are sadly faked. So just know when you go under the breezeway, not everybody knows exactly what they have under there, and sadly I think some of them do know, and they still traded me real pins for fake pins. But it's okay, you live and you learn. And I'm one that if I have it in my collection, I'll put a fake pin into the collection, and then when I find the real one, I'll put the real one in there and take the other one out and just trade it back out later. So it is what it is, but I'm pretty sure this Marie is fake. I can't feel anything on her at all. And I think this Pooh one is also fake, but these all have a texture to them a little bit in different areas. So I'm fairly certain, well, I think this one right here may be fake too. It doesn't feel like the other ones. So this one and these two may possibly be fake pins. I'm feeling for texture on this one. It has just a touch of a texture right there. So maybe this one is real, but these two, like, they have none. So they're pretty flat. And then the reason I know these are faked is because I did find 2 other ones of these. I found the Simba one on a board, and the paint was completely dipped and super shiny on it, so I know for a fact they have been faked. But I just started with a few of these before I went. I had Flower, I had Blue, but I ended up trading for all the rest of these. I got so close to being completely done. I'm only missing Dumbo that's sleeping on a branch, and that will be this entire collection, and I could not find it anywhere. Nobody had it for trade over the course of the entire time that I was there. So that one is the one I'm missing. Then I was working on this Haunted Mansion set because, like I said, I have the Haunted Mansion Apartment 56 pieces, and I wanted to get this full collection to put on a board. I was working on this one. Now, this one, I believe, has 8 pieces to it. Sadly, I ended up with 2 extras of 2 of them because I thought that made my collection complete, but it didn't because they were duplicates. So I do have some extras of a couple of these, and I'm still missing some. So I'm still actively working on this set. And then I went there with one of the Wish pieces, and I was not able to complete this one either. I believe there's 8 of these, so I'm still missing 3. I did end up trading for other pins, just like on boards and to people, and I did put those back into my trader books just because they're ones that I don't really have any attachment to, and I'm trying to make it to where I'm only keeping pins that I have a true attachment. That is what I'm doing because I'm trying to do some of these collections and complete them. So if you do pin trading, do you have any certain ones that you collect? Are there any ones that you are working on that you are still needing? I'm curious to know. It seems to never be ending on these. And if you thought that was all, it's not, because these are my 4 books that I have. These are the little ones that I actually take to the parks with me. I don't take the big ones just because we take a backpack to where we can put these in when we're on rides and just walking randomly when we know we're not going to be doing pin trading. These are the ones that I have. Now, I do keep a page in here normally that has like the Boo Boo Kitties if I don't have an entire one that's full of Boo Boos. And then I have a lot of real ones. The reason I do that is because I take these real ones with me for trading under the breezeway. And then I have the ones that are fakes that I keep for if I see a fake pin and I like it better than one that I have. We do that, and sometimes I do it because, like, I found a little girl that was in the breezeway trading pins, and she didn't have a lot of pins, but she did have one of these small books of these, and she had several on the front page, but she didn't have it full by any means, and she was looking for only stitch pins. So I went through my pins that I had in my little books with me and saw that I had one stitch pin, and he was one of the ones where he's wearing the little Stars and Stripes swim bottoms, and I took it out and gave it to her. Her mom was like, no, and she was like, all we have left are like a couple of fake pins that we found, and that's it. Like, we don't have anything that she wants to trade. And I was like, this is no trade, just for her to have. And she was like, no, like, we can't. And yes you can. So we do that sometimes just because if I had seen the little girl later, I did end up finding a couple of other stitch pins, and I was going to give those to her as well. And then we had someone that was looking for a couple of other things, Alice in Wonderland and maybe Baymax, but I didn't find any of those. But I do trade whether they are real or fake, just because I don't know, and I feel like if those people are really looking for them, they would want those too. So I did look to see if I could find other ones, and I did, but then I didn't see her again. And I think the only other stitch one that I ended up with was this baby stitch. So I'm going to keep it in my collection, and then when we go back again, if I happen to see her again and she's still collecting stitch, or someone else, I'll have it to where I can give it to them. Now, this is the only other one I haven't shown, and this is all Star Wars. So we did start collecting Star Wars while we were there, and I think we ended up with 3 full collections while we were there, minus like these. We don't have the Chase one, and I believe on the snowflakes I'm missing one. These, of course, are Boo Boo Kitties, and that's just fine until we find the real ones. And then we have all of these, and then we have some of these collections. Looks like we're going to start some Star Wars boards, and that's good to have. I like to do the different things. So that was our pin trading journey. We do have the pin trading app. We did get it before we left, and I wanted to just kind of hit on that a little bit. So it is free to get it, but you can't do a whole lot with it unless you pay the $40 a year for it. I had a lot of people ask me what I thought about that while I was there. I had a couple of people to say it's $40 a year, and that's the cost of 2 nice pins. And you can either choose to do the pin trading app or add 2 extra nice pins to your collection per year. And I see where that's coming from. I get that. If you have the extra money and you don't mind doing it, then it seems to be great to me. It's easy to scan the pins, put them into the collection, look for the other pins in the collection, add them to your collection. You can scan other pins that you want to put into a trader's area. You can heart ones that are in the collections that you need to put in your ISO. And then you can just go straight to your ISO to see which pins you need. And I can see that being very helpful. I can also see the pin trading app being something good to have. And I've been trying to figure out, is it something worth it to me to keep and renew after the year is up? And the answer is I don't know. I haven't actually decided that part yet. I also thought about what they were saying as far as the $40 a year goes, and that does seem a little bit steep for me because I'm not in the parks daily. It's not something I use daily. It's something that I would just be using for while I'm working on collections. But you can also do it the old school way and just take a picture of it, Google image search it, look on eBay for prices that have already sold to where you get an idea on what it's worth. You can get the photo of the collections from Disney when they put them out, and then you can just keep it and do the edit on it to where you just put an X over the ones that you already have and just keep that image in your pictures to where you can just see, you can just flip through your pictures to see which ones you're looking for. And that works too. And that's free. So it kind of goes both ways with me. Now, one thing that I would say, if I was the pin trading app and I was trying to get more people to sign up and see as to how it is worth it, consider this. When you have this app, get the information for the people that are paying the $40 and do a annual pin to where when they sign up, you mail them a pin that you have had made, because you can have them made for a little of nothing when you buy a whole bunch of them at a time, and ship them, just mail them out a pin. And that would be something that you could only get by downloading and having that annual subscription to the pin trading app. At the end of the year, do another pin. So basically, it would be for the first time you download it, you would get this one pin. And then when you renew after your year, you would get a different pin. And then when you renew after the year, you would get another pin. And that would make everyone have to have it to be able to get those pins. And it would be a thing to where that would be the only way you could get it, would be to be a annual subscriber to the pin trading app. Now, I don't think anybody from pin trading app is going to be watching this, but if they were to, that would be an excellent motivation to get more people to subscribe to you. And it would also be a good way for people to see that it's not just the app, they would also get a pin. So if it was me doing this, I would definitely look into it, whether it's a fantasy pin, whether it's something that you could possibly do with the Disney approval to do a Disney copyright on it and do it as a Disney pin would be absolutely amazing. So maybe think about it and consider it, and then let's see what happens with it. If you know anybody that's part of that pin trading app that you could let them like get this idea, I think it would be great. I think it would definitely be a great motivational piece to be able to get a lot more subscribers, and then a lot more people would have a reason to download it. But yeah, so what do you think about this? Have you ordered anything off Vinted? Have you been pin trading? Do you have a collection that you're currently working on? What do you think about these collections that we are working on? Do you happen to have any of the pins that I'm missing that you would be willing to trade or sell? Please leave a message and let us know. And with that being said, have a wonderful day, and remember, we love you.